safe space. Also, I would have mentioned before, my village is under attack by the government. The government of Guyana is attacking the Mocha Arcadia community in our lands. We continue to see a lot of illegal movements taking place within our boundaries, where we have our elected NDC that is not being involved or contacted when these officials are coming into our community and doing what they're doing. And so I'm calling on the relevant authority to get some manners. We have an elected body that deals with our interests in Mocha Arcade community. We expect that you will engage them. We expect that you will show them the courtesy that is deserved. I want the world to know that the government of Guyana, the PPPC government of Guyana, continues to invade African communities without any stopping in their minds. They just keep doing what they feel like, taking lands, invading, and carrying on as they don't care. We have to stand up to these people. We have to. We cannot continue that road. Imagine in 2020 at Parliament, my first presentation in Parliament, I brought up the issue of Caneville, where you have a whole lot of canals covered with thick bushes, tall to the people home. Yesterday we did a walkabout in that area, and oh boy, the situation is the same. They have not made any efforts to clear those big canals, repair certain bridges in the area so that those people can be comfortable. And that's an area that is largely populated by Africans too. And we just continue to see the marginalization works being done. Yes, they do some of the roads, but the key things, drainage is important. Drainage is absolutely important, but you're not cleaning out these canals so that the drainage can be well kept. People can be comfortable even when rain is falling, you know that the drain is clear. But when you have the drain, the drain in such a manner, and these canals, it's very, very sad. And there's quite a lot of children living in these areas. And when you go wrong, snakes, you got to think about all the different insects and things that will come out and can affect a lot of these children. So again, we know that the Grove Diamond has responsibility for that area, but apparently they don't do work in the area to clear the area, clean the canals, and ensure that the people are comfortable. We see roads being built, this being done, this scheme, that area, and passing through, but what is critical is not being addressed. And again, like I said in my opening statement on this issue, since 2020, I would have been showing pictures of these canals that needs to be cleaned. Nothing is being done. We're in 2024, and I hope people pay attention to these things. These are issues that affect the daily livelihood of people in the community, and it is very, very important that we pay attention to such pertinent matters. We have so many issues taking place, I choose the quote that I put out there because yesterday our leader had a press conference, and after the press conference, there were a lot of things that were being peddled around. And so I have a clipping that I want to share with you, and I want to encourage persons to go back and read some of these very articles that people spend writing and not paying attention. I want you to pay attention to the words. I don't know, operator, if you can pull up that video for me with the leader.
David, the question again, with respect to the subsidies to the dino watering for operators and GWI,
all right, I guess my operator
personally,
they gave me
to which you referred. Are you worried that if you were to remove those subsidies and block as they are, that this will eventually trickle down to higher prices for transportation
I probably misinterpreted your question. I thought you were talking about subsidies to individuals, like pensioners, etc. But then let me
the question again. With respect to the subsidies to the dino watering for operators and GWI as opposed to individual personally by way of the etc. to which you referred. Aren't you worried that if you were to remove those subsidies and block as they are, that this will eventually trickle down to higher prices for transportation of
I probably
people?
misinterpreted. I probably misinterpreted your question. I thought you were talking about subsidies to individuals, like pensioners,
No.
etc. But then let me answer that question now. As far as I recall, while we were in government, GPL had begun to make some money. It was in a much better financial position. And I do believe if GPL is properly managed, then you can remove the subsidy.
All right. So I want to encourage my viewers to spend some time looking back at that press conference, and then you would see some of the articles that are written and what is out there. You know what's amazing? When you see people start putting up things and person stop for a few minutes to go and check to ensure that I'm having some technical difficulties there. All right. People don't check to ensure that the information that is out there is accurate. We find ourselves in a lot of problems. And so I want to encourage people to do that. When you see certain things are printed, go and check to see what is being said or what was said before you actually run with it. And then, when you look at some of the comments that people would make, it really tells you educating a nation is very important. Education is so critical. It will save a lot of conflict and some of the things that we see happening in society if people spend some more time paying attention, reading and comprehending what is being said. It will take us a long way. Also, we have the national issue of cost of living. I see during the week there was a whole press conference where cost of living was being touted by the sitting VP of what is being done for the people of Guyana. If anybody on this live can tell me how much of this ease of cost of living you've been feeling, will share it with us. There's a lot of things that are happening, and there's no intervention to ease the rise of cost of living. The interventions that we see, it doesn't say anything that would give you and I any ease when you go to the market, when you have to shop. I have to shop weekly. I like to tell people I have a large family, so I know what it is when you go to the market to shop milk. This week you might pay $800. Next week you go, it might be $900, and the price keep going up. There's nothing there to control the prices that you pay in the market. You might buy some saltfish this week for $500. I think you go next week it's $700. Who controlling these prices? What measures are there to control the prices in the market? And I pick up the budget book because they like to put all these things and say, oh, they will do this and we will do that. The pension that they have increased to 36,000, but a pensioner living by themselves. Imagine a pensioner getting 36,000, and they have to pay the bills, buy the food, take care of medication, and all of that. From the time they collect the money, they might have to buy grocery one time, and they got to go through with that, and as if they're living by themselves. And they got to pray that they don't get sick. And I would have said this in Parliament. They got to pray that they don't get sick, because the monies that they will have, they don't have savings. They can't do anything. Another thing I see there, these people touted expansion of part-time job program. Tell me how $40,000 a month could help a family living with 4 persons, a mother and 3 children, or a husband and wife and children. How are they living on $40,000? The reality is that there's no measure that you and I can speak of that ease the cost of living for us. What eases the cost of living for people in Guyana is that if you planted 2 seed, as the old people would say, you plant a little shallot, a little pepper, you plant a little cash crops, and so forth in the garden, whether you do it in pots, whether you do it in the yard, you have space to do your planting. That is what will help you to stretch them the $2 that you have so that you can actually survive. You got to be doing your own things to survive. if you're actually going to survive. The government is not doing anything to bring more relief to people and their daily living. I see they're touting about the school grant. That's nice. But it's one time for the year. And you have to ensure that when you purchase it, you try to get the best that could last the child for the entire year. So these are some of the things that you hear them talking about. Then they talk about moving, giving cuts to charges, reduction in freight charges, people bringing in stuff and containing the cost of fuel and all these things that they have written here. I will do an entire presentation on my program showing you that the cost of living keeps going up and there's no measure in place to help our people. And that's why I choose the quote, the most dangerous of truths are truths that are slightly distorted. So you have somebody coming from the government telling you things that are not true. It's the same thing we see with the practice of people at Sarah Johanna, where the minister went to tell people, oh, we care. We care for y'all, and that's why we're here. When they're the persons responsible for the people being in the position they are in, if they had allocated and given the peoples the land they paid on for since 2021, in 2024, they would not have been in this position of being threatened to throw out on the streets with their children, all because the government didn't do what they were supposed to do. And these are some of the issues that we have to constantly address as we go along each and every day. And again, it takes a responsibility of individuals to pay attention. A lot of distorted facts are out there from the government to give people the impression that they care. They don't care. People who go to the market every day, they got people live from day to day. We helped the family when the young man called and was expressing that he went to work but didn't get work for the day. And he wasn't sure what will happen to his family. A lot of people live like that daily. So there's no relief. There's no assistance to give people. What about having every month food hampers at the NDCs, not at the PPP reps' house? They got elected areas, officials in the different areas, the NDCs. Why not have food hampers for seniors at the pension place when they go into the post office to collect the pension? You set up a distribution tent outside so they could collect the little rice, if it's little rice, flour, some oil, little sugar, little milk, little parrot stuff. So when they're going with the $36,000, at least they get a little ease from something. Why not go to communities and set up for persons who are single parent or who's struggling, get the information from the NDC, but this government do not like to deal with legality. They love a corruption. They wouldn't deal with the legalities of things. So you got elected officials, you have them to manage because they're managing the affairs of the community. Put things in place, measures in place so people could actually benefit from, not just say things. I always recall when they removed VAT from building materials. I took the opportunity to go and check stores that were selling windows and so forth. You know what those people do? They said they remove VAT and the price remained the same for the windows as when the VAT was there. No VAT is being calculated anymore, but the price remained the same. Sports equipment. They talk about they're removing VAT and this will happen and things will be cheap. You go to buy a cricket ball, a hard ball is $3,600 for hard ball. And you imagine if you have a child who's into cricket, one ball, you got to make sure that they lost this ball because every time they lost the ball is $3,600. There's no relief that people can say they're feeling in Guyana when it comes to the ease of cost of living. So again, Guyanese, I want to call on you to pay attention to truth and facts. Do not be carried away by distorted truths. Pay attention. People don't care. People actually don't care. The government don't care. The government do not care about us. They're talking. And when I saw the comment, I said, what is this? Imagine you're talking about people should be thankful for the ease of cost of living. Who the VP is talking about? Which people is he referring to? Is it empowering for the people who, when they relieve go, they get extra money in their pocket and you still got to pay the same price? You bring the same price to business. People remove the VAT, the price remain the same. And you got to deal with that. Who is monitoring the prices in the market? On the government side that can ensure that people really benefit from these things. We need to pay attention to the truth. All of us are in the struggle. And I want to say to people, to ease the cost of living, you have to be very independent in trying to make ends meet the best way you know how, if you're really going to be able to survive with all that is happening. So that's another issue that we have to continue to pay attention to and address these distorted truths. Moving right along, I've been speaking about Joel Adams' death. And I will not leave the story until something happened. All week, waiting to see when will be Joel's funeral and if it will be publicized or live streamed on the Ministry Youth, Sports and Culture page or the Learn to Swim page that they have on Facebook to tell people that they're carrying on smartly with the program and putting up pictures of people who could actually swim and all of that out there. And none of that was done. So Joel died at a Learn to Swim meet that is controlled by the government. Joel lived in the state facility in Sophia. Joel lost his life. We got all kinds of confused stories came out. We had a PM that was done, and the information was there. And Joel is laid to rest quietly. That should tell us something. I pray that he continue to rest in peace, and we pray that justice will prevail. The truth will come out. I want those people to know Joel, he's dead, he's been buried, but you got to live with a lot of things. This child did not get this due respect. I shouldn't even say I'm surprised. It is the government anyway, they don't care. This child died in state care. You want to tell people, oh, this, that. Why is it that you couldn't simply live stream on Facebook, on your platforms that you have, even if it's just the Learn to Swim page, so the persons could play the respect and be involved and so forth? No, it's a hush-hush, shoo-shoo affairs, but your conscience you got to live with. You will live with it. As we know, yesterday we had a whole blow up when Gordon posted the information from the gymnasium. We have an international competition ongoing in this nation. And you seeing rainfall, so you got 3 half drums, a bucket, and a wash tub to catch water on the playing surface where this international competition is being held. This is a national embarrassment and disgrace to this nation. And it is something that is continue over and over again. I've been talking about it. We are sitting in the National Assembly, passing a set of monies to youth, sports, and culture. And when you visit our sporting facilities, there's nothing to celebrate. There's nothing that you could be excited about. Because if you go to the washroom, some washroom ain't got back. The National Stadium went for cricket, they go in the washroom, the back of the toilet down, so I didn't even got a simple seat. You go to the stadium, the Lenore Track Stadium, a whole set of thick mass on the spectator stand. All these venues, you go to them, the only part that is well kept, well done, well set up, is where the VIPs will be, the very, very important people. Not even the area where the athletes are, you pay attention to. You go to the stadium, you got toilets overflowing. Like you can't find proper plumbers to do the work. Why is it that we have to endure this as a people? And so here again, we have a national embarrassment. They like to tout about all the international competition that we bring to the nation. And because this to happen, y'all should know what we're referring to. But yet still, when we have these competitions and you go, you're ashamed to be at the competition because the basic things, facilities, not well kept. The National Stadium over the river had 3 meets in June. Senior Championship, the Allianz Poppy Invitational, the Junior Championship, successive weekends. All them stadium, the area where people have to sit. Nothing is done there. But you go in the VIP section, it's very important. You know, it's well painted, it's well kept, it's well clean. Spectators who are going to give support to the athletes. Motivation is always important for athletes. You imagine as a Guyanese athlete there, you taking part, and you got to be seeing, oh gosh, a big drum, a tub on the floor, and people there. I could imagine these people that come to our country must be saying to themselves, are these people for real? They're begging for international competitions to come and they can't have the basic venue set up properly for persons to take part and not have to worry that if water fall, they can slide or fall down. We have to see better. We demand them better. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture need to do better. Instead of pushing the nose where they shouldn't, trying to take over the celebration of emancipation by the Africans in Guyana, they're taking over no other race celebration. The East Indians have their time. Nobody pushing the nose in the celebration. Our indigenous brothers and sisters have their time. Nobody pushing the nose in the celebration. But as soon as emancipation come up, they're trying to find alternative activities or to compete with the Africans in Guyana. And I hope they wake up. Our people wake up. They don't care. They don't care. You see, when they have certain events, no alcohol allowed. But when we got events, you want to bring alcohol to sell. These are things that we have to pay attention to. The people don't care about people. The government don't care about people. I want the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture keep in the corner, do what it's supposed to do, and let the Africans celebrate. Let us celebrate our time, or we ought to celebrate it. Not by dictatorship. This is not plantation life where your master decide how you should celebrate or what you should be celebrating. I saw this morning a whole long write-up in the newspaper attacking one of our comrades, and I'm paying keen attention to that. Nobody's stupid. Why would you go plan emancipation? Everybody know growing up. The National Park is where we normally go for emancipation celebration on the 1st of August. Why would you want to be planning an event right opposite on the same day? It is problem they're looking for. And so on Emancipation Day, I'm looking out for my brothers and sisters from all ethnicity, all walks of life. Come to the National Park and let's have a grand time of celebration. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture need to go fix all them venues y'all have run down, broke up, not good condition. Find good plumbers to fix the toilet. Find good plumbers to do the work. Don't just pick up somebody and make them a plumber. Find people who know to do the work to get it done properly. Fix the venues properly. At the gymnasium, if you go to the back, it's a truck park. Me know the gymnasium with all them trucks, but they got parked up in the area that used to play circle tennis. Those who know the gymnasium. At the back there is where you had this circle tennis play competition. Now you can't play no circle tennis competition there, because it is a truck park, a whole set of truck park up there. I don't know if they belong to the gymnasium. I was checking to see if they got something marked on it, the gymnasium of the National Gymnasium or something. Nothing, but the trucks park up there. So it's a parking lot. The circle tennis area is a parking lot at the back of the gymnasium. So they're not focusing on really upkeeping these activities how they ought to do it, and the venues, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, but they're asking for run and fight down. You remove the funding from IPADG and you handpicking who's African group and who's African in Guyana. That's what we're dealing with. You handpicking, and the people got to do with what you want. That's not how it was supposed to be done. But all of that will change. People recognize that we need change in this nation if we're to grow. People need to be respected. This government is no good for Guyana. No good. All the things that they're doing is to cause problems all the time. Poor people continue to suffer. The Africans continue to suffer. People who don't support them continue to suffer because of the wickedness that they continue to perpetuate against people who does not support their wicked ideologies and plans. So these are things that we have to pay attention to. I don't know if the operator could pull up the video I did with the sports, where the government spoke about the $4.6 billion they spent in sports. And when you visit the venues, you don't see this $4.6 billion in effect. This is the most sickening sight, to come to the stadium at Lenore for a competition. And look at the condition of this stand. You mean to tell me these people can't get a power wash and wash up all these things? Look at the condition here. This is really terrible. And we bring people to come and compete. We got competition here. Wash the place down. Goodness gracious, man. And that's just a little clipping of the many videos I have of sporting venues in Guyana. I actually felt my foot ended up in one of them slush. Oh my gosh, that made me feel so terrible for the day. I had to take off my sneakers because I didn't even realize the mass is so thick on the stands. And imagine people going there to look at the sport. No wonder people don't want to go over there. And so we call on the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to get it right. Our venues needs to be fixed. If you're talking about sports as a tourism to attract people to the nation, the basic thing, ensure the venues are well kept, they're cleaned properly, so that when you have competition, you can do that. We see that when people travel out of the country, they take so much pride and joy in promoting, in saying, our athletes is over here in Saudi Arabia, our athletes in the US, our athletes in the Bahamas. Y'all didn't recognize that these athletes, when y'all show up these pictures, how clean these people place and facilities are. Y'all come on, y'all take a step back and look. We're happy that our athletes can get exposure, but a lot of them don't want to come back to the depression. People go out to swim, and when they come back, Guyana pool full of mass, sitting clean, in the play venue nasty. But you just come from out the country to somewhere that is very clean. You feel very good. You feel excited to be a part of the competition. But when you come back home, it's a whole set of green mass, a whole set of unkept and nasty environment. Toilets not functioning. You can't get running water, the venue, and all these things. So again, we can call the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to get it right. Get the sporting facilities in this country fixed so that when people go to competition, they can sit and enjoy it. I always go to competitions. I miss the sports hall. I used to go basketball at the sports hall, sit there and watch games and so forth. We're still waiting to see when they're going to be finished. So these are things that we have to be dealing with ever so often. I want to give you some updates and announcements before I bring my show to close. You know, in my village, we continue to celebrate 130 years. So Sunday, we have our Welcome Emancipation program at 6 p.m. under the Big Tree. The Big Tree is a very special place. We have our Village Day coming up on August 3rd from 12 o'clock in the day. That's normally done at the front street, for Street Arcade. So if you want to pass through, feel free. We have our annual cycling coming up on the 28th, right at the Big Tree. Tonight, we got the Village Cup finals that will take place in our schoolyard. So those are some of the activities that are happening right here on the East Bank, right in my community, where we continue our annual celebration. And like I said, my village is celebrating 130 years village status this year. So we have our activities that are ongoing. Added to that, the PNCR have the Big People Party right on the 3rd of August at Congress Place.
The New York
And I
PNCR
want to
Group and
encourage you to
PNCR Guyana presents Big People Dance.
Oh, na, 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 na.
On Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, at Congress Place, The Fire. Come out and be entertained by Blue Ribbon, The Boss, Genius, One Man Band, Big P, and Big J, One Man Band. Doors are open from 8 p.m. Admission only $1,200. So you know where you need to be on Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, at Congress Place, The Fire. Big People Dance.
And so that's for the big people who like to go to the party, August the 3rd. And again, don't forget, August 1st, we in the National Park for our emancipation celebration as a nation. We'll be there to celebrate with our nice African pieces. And if you're looking for the African pieces, I'm supporting local. All my accessories here wearing, it's from purchased from persons within my constituency. I can get you the number that you can call and you can purchase your earring, your necklace, your head wrap, whatever you need. You can get that. Also, I was out in the Main Street where they have the person selling out there. If you're looking for African pieces, your clothing, you can go out there and get your pieces. So I will do some more promotion as I go along for emancipation celebration so that persons can get involved. We want to congratulate all our Olympians who are preparing for the Olympics. Let us pray for them. We pray for success. We pray for their safety. We pray for their security and their best participation in the upcoming games. That being said, I want to bring my program to a close by saying thank you to all who have tuned in. And remember, the most dangerous untruths are truths slightly distorted. God bless you and do enjoy the rest of your day.